and this is an interesting experience actually. Then it came out in this. This was called the Stella, which is the Italian version of Stella. It's the Italian version of the Ensign. And I remember one Ensign article that came out, or a Stella article that came out about a lady who was actually a librarian in the Vatican. And she'd worked in the Vatican for years and years and years. And one day, one of the cardinals, I think it was, that came into the Vatican library, she said, we had actual scrolls from, she'd seen and held in her hands actual scrolls written by Christ's disciples. I mean, seriously, that old of stuff. And this one bishop had come in and asked for them to lay out something. He was doing some research or whatever, and they were not allowed to read what was on these scrolls. That was against the rules and so forth. But she actually could read Hebrew pretty well and so forth. And anyway, long story short is that he came in. They had to go through this process because they have to kind of steam them so that they don't crack and break when they open them up. So they have this preservation process that they go through. Anyway, so she had done this, and it was all laid out. And after the cardinal left, it was all laid out there. And because she could read Hebrew, she just kind of started, well, I wonder what it says. What the actual disciples of Christ were writing about. And she remembered reading a little portion in there that talked a little bit about, I think it was eternal marriage. I think it was being sealed for eternity with your partner, with your spouse. And she's going, well, they never say anything about that, kind of thing. And so it kind of bugged her for about a year. She was kind of, I wonder what that was all about, and so forth. Anyway, and so about a year later, all of a sudden there was a knock on her door, and of course it was the missionaries, and she let them in, and she started talking to them, and they started to tell her about eternal marriage and being sealed for eternity and so forth. And she just went, yeah, you know what? I actually read that on a scroll that was right there in the Vatican. And she ended up joining the church, and there was a whole article about her in the Stella, about her conversion to the gospel and so forth. And of course, she was ostracized from the Catholic Church, without doubt.